So I played golf freshman year through senior year. I was on varsity all 4 years, and I learned so much from the game of golf. And I remember there was a windy ass meet my freshman year. Like, bro, I don't want to go to this golf meet. Like, it's gonna be windy. Like, I'm not gonna play good, right?
Ball's gonna be all over hell.
Because I'm always so focused on the wind.
Right.
And I remember my head golf coach came up to me. He's like, J-Bo, what's going on? And I was like, I told him about the wind. He's like, you realize every single other person on this course has to play with the wind as well. And I think when you have that mentality, like realizing that everyone else is dealing with the same thing you probably are going through and they just don't know about it, it's really like who's hiding it like the best? Who's going to hide that they're going through the pain the most? Yeah. And I think that's how you could be successful. You got to hide like your kind of failures and your mistakes at the end, like, or your injuries, to really succeed at the highest level you can, because everyone is going through something.
Yo, Kono with the rebound, they got 8 seconds to go. Move the ball right up the court, yeah, you know they ready to roll. Hit the outlet pass to Patrick, put a move on them so tragic. Yeah, you don't want no static, McCaffery boys, they be like magic. This shit back to Kono, yeah, you know these boys is hooping. Hit him with the alley, yeah, you know he straight up hooped it. Now Patrick's hanging on the rim, yeah, he's got his feet up. Excessive celebration, McCaffery boys, they done got teed up. Oh man, they got teed up.
Teed Up is brought to you in part by Vibrant Credit Union. Have you ever heard anyone say, hell yeah, I get to go to the bank today? Of course not, because waiting in line is a huge waste of time. Here's some good news. People who hate going to the bank love banking with Vibrant. You can deposit checks 24 hours a day from your phone with Vibrant's mobile app. And with 55,000 ATMs in the Vibrant network, it's easy to get cash without paying a fee.
And now, with Vibrant Live, you can even connect face-to-face with a banker to open an account or apply for a loan from wherever you are. In fact, the only reason you might ever want to visit a Vibrant branch is if you need a purple ballpoint pen. And they're okay, but probably not worth a special trip. Open an account today at vibrantcreditunion.org.
Welcome to episode 13. We're doing already 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Already 13 episodes in, man. That's crazy. It's crazy. We got very, very special guests here joining us on Teed Up today. J-Bo, how you doing? I should give you a little intro. Okay, one of if not the best shooter in the history of the Big Ten, the history of Iowa.
He is. He's made more threes than anybody else.
Yeah, I mean that's a good gauge. My teammate for a long time. Patrick's teammate for a little bit as well.
A long time. I mean, 3 years.
A little bit.
3 years.
A little bit. But I mean, grew up together, playing together. Barnstormers like 6th, 7th grade. All the way back, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you guys having me. Should be fun.
No, for sure.
When I tweeted today that we had a really good shooter coming on, I want to give a quick shout out to Rico Bosco over at Barstool. Said when I said something about having a good shooter, he goes, Plaxico Burris. I said, nope. But he was right on there, man.
Bro, that dude has to be one of the funniest, like, quick, like, witty guys I've ever talked to before.
I remember when they were here, I was talking to Marty, and Marty's like, Rico said something about how he was texting you, and Marty thought he was talking about me, and Marty was like, oh, like, this guy's got your number? He's like, you're he's like, he's never gonna leave you alone.
He's just gonna blow your phone up. He does always he does. I mean, text a lot. If we get into it, it's gonna be a conversation.
Rico relationships. That's why they call him.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they call him.
Yeah, Rico relationships.
I love it.
Guy loves the network.
Big network guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. J-Bo, what you been up to? What's been going on since the season ended?
Just chilling, really. I've done really just get my body back right. Signing with an agency here, seeing wherever this basketball is going to take me for next couple months. Just going to try to see what happens. So, yeah.
Do you want to play in Europe, or do you want to play? What do you want to do? Do you want to play in the G?
I don't know, man. Like it's hard to like transition to this next like part of your life. Like, you're kind of going through it right now too, like deciding what you want to do. Like it's hard. Like it was hard last year trying to decide what I want to come back for, and if I wanted to come back to college for another year. But I mean, that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. But this is a different animal. Like trying to decide, do I want to go the G League route and play in the summer league this summer? What happens if I just get stuck on the bench and watch these guys just chuck up threes like we saw with Wheezy play? Like you just don't know what you're gonna get into. So I mean, I feel like I could have a great pro career if that's what I ever decide to do, just because I know how hard I can work and get to the next level.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking like when we went to, because Connor and I went out to Summer League last year with AA to watch Wheezy and Luca and gamble. But anyways, so we were just like watching.
Didn't gamble a lot.
No, he didn't. I did because I was winning, but he Connor ran out pretty quick. No, but so I remember talking to like just watching the games. You're like, this is awful. Like Summer League, like this is just like
terrible basketball.
Just some guy comes down, he dribbles down the floor, takes 12 dribbles, and shoots a step back three. And so I was sitting with a guy that we know that too, Tommy, who's a scout for the Magic, and I was just like, T-Bass, like, how do people play in this? He's like, I was like, why? Like, what is like Jalen Green or like all those guys' incentive like to play in this? He's like, well, it's like, he said, it's 10% of your salary you get if you play in Summer League. And I was like, well, all right, that gives me enough reason to play. It's like, I don't know, like what is that, like $500,000 for if you get drafted like top 10 or whatever. It's like you got to play.
There's just some guys like I struggled watching NBA beginning of the season, middle of the season. I don't know. I just feel like playoffs is a lot different, but man, there's some guys I don't know how like they even get the chance to play in the NBA because they're just so selfish and self-centered. Like, it's like you guys know what I mean. Like it's actually ridiculous. Like these guys like have no basketball IQ at all. Like, you watch them in college, like these guys having like 6 turnovers in a game. Like, dude, you're not okay with dribbling the basketball. Like, pass the ball.
No, I've had to learn a whole other lesson about basketball IQ coaching sitting on the bench for Jack's team.
Oh God,
we got to so they have a shot clock, right? It's like 30 seconds.
Do they really?
Yeah,
wow.
15U Adidas, they got a shot clock. And so like one of the games they played like 2 weeks ago when I was there, Jack's team gets the rebound with like 32 left, so it's like 2-second difference. So it's like you wait it out, right? You shoot the last shot. Well, so the first game. Actually, well, no. So I'll tell this story first, and the first game I'll tell that one next. But like this game, we have the ball, right? It's like, all right, one shot, everybody hold it, we're dribbling. All of a sudden, this kid just chucks it from 30 feet with like 18 seconds left.
I love it.
I just like it doesn't go in, and then they come down, score or whatever to end the half, and I'm just like, oh my God, could you imagine like if our
you're not going back in the game.
You might do it if you're open.
Oh man, if it was a 2-for-1 situation, I don't understand that because I did shoot a couple of those this year where it wasn't even close. But I gotta get that up.
No, yeah, exactly. You got to chuck up a 2-for-1. I did. I shot one of those too.
Yeah.
You were screaming at me to shoot it. I was like, all right.
Anytime we have 2-for-1, me and Connor are screaming on the
shoot it. And Ash is somewhere screaming to 2-for-1.
Right. Or don't take the ball out.
Yeah.
Like.
You were really good with that.
Like, bro, like don't take the ball out.
Yeah.
If they score with 40 seconds, like let it roll around, throw it to the ref, take 2 or 3 seconds. Oh, like I gotta go, reach down, tie your shoe, something, because then the time's running and then you get one shot. Like,
you're always really good about that,
bro. A bunch of teams do that now. Like Purdue, like Painter's huge on it too. Like Bluter's huge on it. Like with the girl, like they do it. They focus on it.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Yeah.
So like it's always like. It's such a big play. Like remember we screwed it up at Illinois, like bad. We screwed it up.
I do remember that.
I can't remember if we had either a 2-for-1 situation that we screwed up or if we shot too early.
It was a 2-for-1. We ran one of our plays. I got a 3 on the left wing and I missed it.
Yeah,
it was a side OB.
Side OB.
Side OB.
Yeah, I threw it and then you. Yeah,
and it was around that time. I don't exactly know how the. Yeah,
because they laid it up.
Yeah,
like it went from we were up 8 and could have went to 10 or 11. We miss and they go down and lay it up. Now it's 6.
Yeah,
like that's huge.
Yeah.
Like double digits at half, I think is like one of the biggest. Like if you can be up 10 at half, that's just so. I mean, it's so important.
Especially at Illinois.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's huge. I mean Illinois, bro. That game was.
That place was jumping.
After that game, man. Like, I thought Al was gonna fight someone. Me and Ash got into someone. I'm like, what the is going on?
Yeah.
My favorite was you smacked the phone out of the guy's hand.
Bro, like
I love
this
that.
little 5'5" frat kid comes up to my face and starts video recording me after we just lost. He's like, and I just like smack his phone out. Like went 30 rows up.
Joe T said he took a kid's phone and just chucked it into the stand.
I would have done the same thing. Yeah. That's comedy.
No.
I hope it broke.
I hope it did too.
No, it's actually, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. Do you want to throw it into the stands or do you just like throw it on the ground as hard as you could and hope it just is destroyed?
We should have just taken it.
That
also just walked away with
that
it.
too.
Like flush it down just put it in the toilet or something.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it into the 50 as well.
Well, no,
because he's gonna have to find that then. Like where? Like with all those people storming.
He's got to type in his iCloud. He's got to ping it.
Dude. Okay, yeah, but then also if it's broken, then like. You can't. Finding it does you no good. You can't use it.
No, it doesn't matter. Perfect. Get a new phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry. No, but Al, you said like Al was gonna fight someone. Al grabbed me immediately because I think he knew. Like I wasn't in any type of mood. I played terrible. Like I was just.
I would play just as bad,
bro. It was not our best showing. But he grabs me, and is like he's like ushering me to the side, and like their coaches were like trying to help too because the people were like because we were kind of going through the handshake line, but like not really because their players were all in the pile, rightfully so, but like their coaches are like I got it, and Al's like no I got it, like, I got it too. He's like I got it too.
No, I remember Ohio State. Remember they were really like the students were crazy at Ohio State.
Yeah, they were.
And like it's like at the end of the game, like when we win, like they were on jelly the whole game, screaming at jelly. And jelly's just you it's my Jelly's turned around screaming, cursing at them all, and then Al screaming at him too, like just saying crazy. I'm not gonna say what Al was saying, but it was wild, and like all these kids were like so in shock that we had just beat them, and it's like. They didn't even know what to do because if you lose, like what can you really say? Yeah,
we played so well that game too.
Yeah,
that was so much fun.
That was like fresh off after everybody kind of like gave up on us. Like we hadn't.
That's what made it so much better.
That was after the Michigan game at home that we lost, and like we didn't play well.
No,
they also played out of their minds. Like Diabite gets 30. Like okay,
I mean, bro, he shows like 12 or 13 from the field.
So like we
turnarounds in Keegan's face,
literally in his face, like hit every part of the rim, drop in. So
Did
like
you declare?
I don't think so. I didn't see it.
Michigan's if I was him, I would have.
Like, they should have. If the season ended after that game, he would have declared.
I'm sure.
He would have been picked first.
I'm sure he put his name in. Like
he should.
I think him and Houston both put their names in.
He was good. He was really good.
Bro, Michigan's going to be good next year, too. If Hunter comes back, like all that. But bro, I always said this, and I told Eli this after our game against them. Eli is so good.
He's so good.
He was
so
like underrated in the league.
So underrated, dude. He was so good.
Bro, nobody talked about him. I was like, he literally locks up whoever he guards. Like he's so tough to score on. Like,
he's so quick.
Yeah.
So quick.
And he's automatic from three, like literally automatic if he's open.
His float is
all
OD.
those like off
makes
leg.
all those crazy.
He got that Xavier Simpson layup package almost.
I don't know what did they teach that up there? Like,
well, the thing is, it's different coaches though. That was the thing. Like,
no, the dude Washington is still there.
Was he there? I didn't know he was there with Beeline.
Yeah, he was there with Beeline. At least I
talked to Xavier about that. It was after his last year, and we were just going back and forth. He's like, bro, I just spent all summer. Like, I would go in the gym. I'd shoot 300, 400 of those shots. I'm like...
Dude, it's automatic.
Was he, like, f***ing around when he would do it, or was he, like...
No, he was, like, serious.
He was
like,
dead serious.
Yeah, he said I wanted to have something when I got in the paint, I was able to hit consistently. I'm like, you picked that?
That's
I mean, that works.
I mean, just pick a floater, man.
Yeah.
Like, we would have shot half those shots to get that down.
Yeah.
No, seriously. No, it's a package to have. They did like a whole thing on G League TV. Didn't they?
Yeah, like they like
that
clipped
clip
all
that
of
went
his,
viral.
and it's just like him just shooting those hook shots. And it's like, how do you guard it?
You can't,
because he stops on a dime, and then all of a sudden the ball's out here. It's like, how do you guard it?
He was so good too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into recruiting a little bit. Because growing up, stand out at Lenmar. You would, right? I mean, yeah. You're a standout.
I was Mr. Basketball. Come
Mr.
on, give me a little more.
Mr. Basketball.
I was just talking about as it relates to Limar, but I just will say really quick, 4-0, just for the record.
You guys are 4-0, yeah.
4-0.
I can't tell. I didn't go to state. I ruined Limar's dynasty when I came in. All my brothers had a state title, and they all went to state every single year I came in. And they had that record of like 10 in a row state appearances. When I came in, we lost my freshman year.
We either tied it or broke it.
I think you guys broke it. You guys broke it by one.
Yeah.
And then you guys lost the next year.
Yeah.
But you always got screwed in your sub-states too.
Well, you guys get the cupcakes, and we get like Cedar Falls and Kennedy. Not saying I shouldn't say cupcakes. You guys still played hard teams.
No, we didn't. We played Muscatine my senior year. That's not
we're getting Cedar Falls, and we were top 5 in state.
Yeah, no, we got Wheezy.
Wheezy, like he can only do so much. Yeah. Like we could have literally all played. Like I could have played right-handed, and we would have won by 30.
Dude averaged like 55 a game.
Yeah. No.
I remember like his assist turnover ratio was negative, and I was like, that's weird. And then we played them, and he makes like some like left-handed like skip pass on the break to a kid, like a beautiful pass for a wide open layup. The kid smokes it, and I'm like, that's why he's got a negative assist turnover ratio. Like I was like, that makes sense.
No, we definitely get cupcakes though. like we do.
No, yeah.
It's by design.
And it's also stupid, though, because, like, they released them in January.
Yeah, I don't know what they gotta change. I mean, we all know the Iowa Athletic Association is behind on times.
No, like my senior year, we played so when they released them, we were matched up with Davenport Central, was who we ended up playing. But they were like really good at the time, like they were like undefeated, whatever. So it was like supposed to be a good matchup. But then like by the time like February rolls around, like we play them, they've lost like 5 in a row, like. Won by 30. It's like they barely won like the sub-state semifinal game against a team that wasn't. I don't even know who they played, but they weren't good. Like they barely won, and it's like, and I was just like, what? That's why you can't do that like so early.
No, that needs to be changed. I remember when it was Zach's and Zach's senior year, and they're like top 5 in the whole country.
Did Zach and Matt play together or no?
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, this was Zach's senior year. They had 5 D1 players on their team, and they're planning to play Oak Hill, and they're trying to meet halfway, and Iowa Athletic Association wasn't allowing it because it was like some rule where you can't play so far out of state.
It's like you can only play states, or you can only play teams with where the states touch.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, it's something.
Why is
stupid.
it a rule?
It's so dumb.
If you have the opportunity to play Oak Hill, like.
And they were good.
That was Oak Hill, man.
That was the year they played Harrison Barnes, Doug McDermott, Boo Boo.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else was on the team. That Ames team, and that was like the best basketball game I've ever watched. Like that Wells Fargo, it was completely. There's not a open seat.
Yeah.
Like the curtains were off. Like it was insane.
Ames won.
Ames won by like 5.
Really?
I mean, Harrison had like 35.
Yeah.
Doug McDermott had 30.
Yeah.
Boo Boo had 20.
I remember like I used to like go on their quick stats and like look at like their like Harrison Barnes averaged like 32 a game, shot like 60% from the field, like 50 from 3, and like 90 from the line.
Imagine Harrison Barnes and Doug McDermott on the same team in Iowa. Like
stupid.
It's just when you know it's too easy when you read out stats like that.
Yeah.
Like you know it's just like it's an easy game for them. Yeah. Like it's just not hard.
It's crazy.
Because some guys are just different. Like you can just tell. Like oh, that was easy for them.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know. Like when you were coming up, there was. Well, I guess you tell the story. I wasn't there.
You were there. You just didn't play. I thought,
no,
right? Or you were.
I showed
there?
up late. I showed up late.
Remember, so we played them in a summer game.
Yeah.
Wally Parks got in a fight with the coach, left the gym.
Left the gym.
That's true. He walked out.
So then I played the whole second half. I played the entire time, and we played Linmar, and Jordan had like 70. Like he's hitting like step backs from the low, like it was in North Central Junior High's gym. He's hitting like step backs from the volleyball line. Like it was like unlike anything I've ever seen. Obviously, we still won, but
obviously
you guys did.
No, but
I did everything I could.
No, but Jordan definitely did his best to like make it close. Like it was stupid. And I remember my dad was at the game because I was playing, and I think that was kind of like the catalyst in like how he started recruiting you. Because I remember Cordell was already committed, and he texted my dad like after the game, and like he didn't even know, but you must have texted him or something because Cordell wasn't there, and he was like, "Oh, like what do you think about Jordan?" Like all this kind of stuff.
No, it was crazy. I remember that game because I was like hurt, man. Like I was in a weird place because I just was coming off a torn MCL, and like I got my Drake scholarship pulled. I got UNI scholarship pulled because I wasn't a guard they wanted to recruit. So I had Lehigh and South Dakota State and DePaul. That was my only 3 schools, and no disrespect to those schools. I didn't really want to go there. I wanted to come to Iowa, and that was like the first time I really had contact with Iowa. And then they started recruiting me later on in that senior summer, recruiting period, and I just played really well. And ultimately, coach finally called me. He actually called me I remember I was golfing. It was like a golf meet at Limar, and I was coming up. I saw Coach McCaffery call me, and I called him back, and that's when he offered me after that golf meet, and I accepted on that same phone call. It was crazy.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Same call?
Yep.
Did you like have the idea when he called you?
Yeah, I kind of knew because I played really well that last stretch of like AAU nationals and playing against these IBL teams. I kind of figured that my recruiting was kind of picking up. I had more high majors looking at me. They didn't offer, but I think as soon as that summer hit where he watched me play in that game, I kind of figured I was going to end up at Iowa, and I was hoping so too.
You texted me and you were like, "Hey, like I remember this. Like I was like, I don't know where I was, but you text me and I look at my phone and you're like, bro, like what do you think about like me committing to play with you?" And I was like, that'd be dope. Like do it. Like commit.
I'd sign up.
Like I was like, commit. Like I don't care. And you're like, bet. Like I think I'm going to. Like he like called you and you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna commit.
Yeah. No, it was. I remember because we right away it was like me, Cordell, TC, Maishi, Riley too. We were all
a group.
Bro,
Trainer. You forgot Cat.
Yeah, you did forget Cat.
Big Cat, bro. We had We had so much fun. That was one of the best like groups I've ever been a part of because we were just so close already from the begin with, and like I mean, you know how all we were. Like we just didn't care about what anyone thought of us. It was so much fun.
Cat's a psycho.
We gotta get Cat on the pod,
bro. Kitty, man, I love Kitty.
He texts me. He texts me like every day, like saying, "I can't wait to come back, like to Iowa City." And like nobody loves Iowa City more than Cat.
Bro, he sends me snap memories like daily. I'm like, bro, this man's hurting over in Japan. Like he wants me back with his brothers.
No, bro, it's crazy because we talked about this during the year, but like. If Cat had redshirted his freshman year, he still would have been here.
He would have been here.
Like he 100%. Like we would have had Cat on our team last year, and Cat would have been huge for our team last year.
The thing with Cat, like the guy, he does it his own way. Like I'm the same way. I'm stubborn as hell, but he's like on a different planet.
Yeah.
Like if he would have just listened, like I remember talking to him in dorm room. I was like, bro, you need a red shirt. Like there's no reason why you should try to play. And you know him. He was just trying to like prove everything he's got. He didn't want to sit out. And man, if he would have redshirted, like imagine what our team would have been like.
So, because he would have used his COVID year
for sure.
Like
he's not leaving this place early.
Nah.
Come on now.
Nah. He would have been the same way as I was.
Yeah.
No, but back to that game. There's something that I always will remember about like that, and this just kind of like speaks to like how you are as a person, as a player. For some, like it was like you were driving from the left wing, and I come over to block it in the summer game, and I whoop it off the glass. I was like, but then we played you guys during the season, I remember, and it was my first start because Connor got a concussion because Cordell tackled him.
Yeah.
And so, literally, like the same exact situation in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm about to whoop this again. I'm so excited, whatever. And you jumped right into me, like right into my chest, and like laid it, and I was like, fuck.
And one.
It wasn't and one.
It should have been.
It probably should have been. I don't know, but it wasn't and one.
Iowa high school refs.
And I was like, oh. Okay, I was like, well, that just kind of spoke to like I was like, obviously you'd remember that, and you thought, like you figured out different ways to like not let that happen again, sort of thing. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like that's why he's 18 and I'm 15. Like he's just a lot smarter than I am.
You're not fooling anybody.
No, exactly. I was like, oh, the same thing's gonna happen again, and then that happened. I was like, oh, okay.
It's that basketball IQ. I mean, Connor. I mean, you guys got it too. Like it's just that ability to just read different plays and situations and learn from your mistakes. Like that's all basketball IQ is, and not a lot of guys have that. Like you guys would be the first one to attest to it. Like not a lot of guys in college basketball have. Not a lot of guys in general have basketball IQ, and that can take you so far with this game. I think that's what's so beautiful about it.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
Especially when you can't like me, like you can't jump.
I'm the same way. Exactly.
You're not dunking on anybody's head. Like you gotta be crafty.
You gotta find ways around it.
Yeah.
I'm not as crafty as you guys, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, you get to jump out of the gym.
He
like
refuses the shot fake, bro.
Bro,
he literally refuses the shot fake.
No, I've been better at it.
Hey, you did one at the end of the season. You got an and one, I think. I can't remember which game it was.
I started shot faking because if I didn't, my dad was gonna have a heart attack from screaming at me.
He would literally.
Is he still wearing his Fitbit or whatever that your mom got him?
Probably. Yeah. Well, unless my mom told him to take it off, he's not taking it off.
I remember we were at media day and he was talking about it when we were eating at St. Elmo's. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I gotta wear this Fitbit.
He's like, this thing on my wrist is like just the most minor inconvenience. He's like, I just gotta wear it everywhere. What the?
It's like when I start screaming, it starts beeping at me to calm down. He's like, who the wants to calm down?
I would say, like, don't you think he mellowed out a little bit?
Oh, for sure.
Over years, give me like the rundown from your freshman year to now.
Freshman year, he was punching monitors and projector screens, holes in the projector screens. Sophomore year, he was kicking basketballs in the 15th row in practice.
Your sophomore year, that one was just
bad. That was also deserved.
100%. Guys didn't know where to go. We had plays like we're running. Like, bro, wake up! Like, we gotta run. We gotta run this play. Like, And junior year, he calmed down. I think junior year, once we kind of had that run in New York City, ever since then, he was really like mellowed out. Yeah. Ever since like he realized like, okay, these guys have locked in and bought into it. Yeah. We're kind of coaching.
Oh yeah.
No,
definitely. Yeah.
No, I would say for 100%, he's definitely like ever since I've been here. I would like don't get me wrong. Like there's times where he'll blow up.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Like as any coach does. But it's like people think that he just screams at us like all the time. No. I'm like 85% of the time he's talking to us like how we're talking right now.
More than that, I think it's like 98% of the time. Like rarely is he screaming at someone and
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like if we screw up an end and a half situation, then he'll start screaming. Like that's like his. That's what I've noticed.
He's got a couple pet peeves.
Yeah, like that's like his like end and a half situation.
End and half, yeah. End of half is that might be number one.
No, yeah.
If the opposing team scores at the end of the half, it doesn't matter if we did everything right.
Like, no.
Someone did something wrong.
If we have like fouls to give, or like we. I mean, remember Minnesota? We ran the full court tap play, and you weren't playing, so TP threw the pass.
Yeah,
TP underthrows me by like 8 feet.
Fucking half court.
Yeah, and then the guy makes a half court. Could you imagine like if he was, because like luckily not luckily, but he had COVID, so he wasn't there. But I was like, oh my, if he was here, like that was the first thing that went through my mind. I was like, if my dad was here, like holy, like
that was a big game too. Like I was like, we were like 3-6 in like conference play when we played. It was at home, right, against Minnesota, and like if we like that's when we went on our run. Like people don't realize how hard it is to come back from like that when you're down like back against the wall 3-6. I think we were 3-6, 4-6 in the league.
No,
4-6. We're
4-6. Like I've talked about this before. Like when we lost those 3 in a row earlier in the year, we lost at Purdue, Illinois at home, both wars, and then we lay an egg against Iowa State, we lose. I'm like. In my head, I'm like, are we ever going to win again?
Yeah.
Like, because then the next game we play Utah State, and I'm like, these guys are good. Like, it's like, are we ever going to win again? And then we play really well, beat them by 100. And then, like, we kind of were, like, had some ups and downs from then on. But then I said the Minnesota game, we really hit our stride because that was the first game of the lineup change.
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be Ohio State, but that game got moved because of the weather.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, you can't make that up.
You can't. You can't.
I also wouldn't have played in the Ohio State game.
Like, yeah, that's true.
Because
like it got moved.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have played in that game, which is kind of crazy to think about.
No, for sure.
Yeah. I was so ready to. Like that was like I was playing like 2, and I think this like emotional ass talk with my dad. I remember he came down to Iowa City. He was
rebounding for you. I was like, oh, we're calling in the big guns.
He was rebounding for me.
I remember that.
Yeah, bro. I was like hurting. Like I was like severely depressed. Like because I was, bro. Because I want to play well, and like I came back, and I was like, I'm already gonna get like some hate because like I ended last year shitty against Oregon. Like I gotta like prove something even more this year. So like when I went on that like slump, I was like, and then that's when my dad came down, and like a lot of tears were shed. I'll tell you that when we had that talk, and then he rebounded for me, and I just felt like a kind of weight lifted off my shoulder after that.
Yeah. Did you just hate playing the 2, or would you attribute it? Like what would you say was like the biggest thing with that? Was it the fact that you're the 2, not being the 1 anymore, not always having the ball, different scenarios in which you're gonna shoot? Like what would it be?
It's not like I hated playing the 2. Like I always just like looked at myself being like I haven't really always been like that vocal of a guy, but like I like being on the floor and like controlling like the tempo on the team, and you know, being in charge. Like okay, I have the ball in my hands. Like I get to set everyone up, and understanding how to put everyone in the right place at the right time, and making sure this pass is in the right place at the right time, and just little things like that. And you know, I've always been a guy that likes to shoot off the dribble better than spot up shots for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it was just like it kind of worked at the beginning of the year, but once Big Ten play hits, like it was just hard to get anything because they don't call fouls off the ball. Like it was harder. No. It's harder to shoot. It's harder to shoot off like the ball than off the dribble, which you would think would be the opposite, but it's completely not. It's 100% harder to get open for a shot off the ball.
I think there's something that has to be said for like you feel so much more comfortable like if you have the ball in your hands, right? It's like I obviously don't have the ball in my hands all the time, so it's like if I go like a couple possessions like without touching it, like it's like I'm not gonna shoot it right away, because it's like you feel like it's like, well, I haven't touched it in a while. But it's like if you always like have the ball, or like you always bring it down and you feel a part of like every possession, then it's like okay, like it just helps your overall flow so much better, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like we were able to, I mean, just little things like being able to call everyone into huddle and keeping everyone on the same page. Like when we're down against Indiana like 9-8, and having myself and Connor on the floor, and we're bringing each other together on the floor and able to calm everyone down. Like just little stuff like that is huge at the next level. And like little details add up to big things. Like when you're not helping someone up off the floor, like that's a big detail. Even though it's a little detail, that's a big detail on whether it's going to be winning or losing.
Yeah,
sure.
No, I remember Wheezy finally just started like literally 2-hand throwing guys because they would just they don't call fouls off the ball. They just refuse to do it. I don't know if it'll ever. We can't go there, but you can go there now.
I'll go there.
Because
we want to do the segment now. I'll do it right now.
But literally, bro, Wheezy, like I would watch him because his sophomore year, he had a good freshman year. obviously, but he was kind of like the third or fourth option on that team. Like maybe even you could maybe even go fifth in some. It's
like he showed
whatever.
like flashes.
Like, yeah, like whatever. He had great games and it was fine. But then like sophomore, he was like kind of like our second go. He was our second go-to guy behind Luka.
Yeah.
And he was getting he was getting the other team's best wing defender, and he was getting absolutely mugged. Like
they don't call
two hands on him everywhere he went, like grabbing him, holding him, and like you could tell like he was kind of learning like how to deal with it. And then he came back junior year, and he would literally like take two hands and throw the guy the other way of which he wanted to go, and then he would just be open, and it was fine because they don't call that either. No. They don't call when the guy's wrapped you up or holding you, grabbing you. They don't call that. But then if you literally just throw them out of the way, either they're not going to call that or they'll call it once, but then they'll call the other holding too. And it's like that's like
I was kind of Weezy's guinea pig for all that because I have to guard him like the whole offseason, right? So it's like every time I like put my hands on him on a cut, like he just like would just shove me. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay,
which is smart.
Like, but exactly, it's like what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating. Like I feel like the Big Ten, like I'm getting into it right now. The Big Ten, like officiating, bro.
Me and Patrick are not in this. This is a J-Bo
this is the J-Bo segment right now. The Big Ten officiating, bro. Like I don't know what it is. I'm looking at these other leagues, man, and like they're like officiating, like, okay, it's not the greatest, but like at least it's consistent. Like it's not like one game they're calling one team for 900 fouls of their game, like they're letting them play. Like at some point, like there needs to be a change, and I hope there is this offseason. I know you guys aren't a part of this, but I'm saying right now, like if the Big Ten basketball wants to keep progressing, like to be the best league in the country, then there has to be a change at that level.
No, 100%. Sure. I remember so you play a whole Big Ten season, right? And then we play in the NCAA tournament, and like in the Richmond game early on, I drew a foul, and I was like surprised that like I was like, you called that?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that was nothing. Like as opposed to what I've seen the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Like that was like.
I mean, maybe that's like what triggers like why the Big Ten hasn't been succeeding so well in the NCAA tournament. Like not to give an excuse for us, like other leagues are really really great teams, but at the end of the day, Big Ten has not been doing well in the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there needs to be, is it the 20-game schedule that you're going through? You're playing 2 to 3 games a week? Like, is that taking a toll on these players? Like, there needs to be something from the outside to kind of examine this, understand why is this league like, getting 8-9 teams in the NCAA and they're not doing anything? Because, I mean, when's the last time there's been a national champion that's been Big Ten?
It's been like I think it was 2000, Michigan State.
It's been a long time. Long time.
I mean, you need a little bit of luck.
Yeah. 100%.
You need a
it's
lot
all
of
about
luck.
it's all about luck.
Matchups.
Yeah.
Like,
you need a lot of luck, but like you look at, I mean, like this year, like I guess you can't really look at Purdue against St. Peter's but like I mean that's luck, and then they just like
I don't know how
they get down in that
Peter's.
game, and then they just like they were so tight. You could tell like how tight they were like in that game, but like it's all about like they would have had. Maybe they would have had a better chance of just beating Carolina.
Yeah,
like if they just played them.
100%, like 100%.
Instead of St. Peter's.
Yeah, like there's almost like they were rooting for St. Peter's to win so they could play St. Peter's, and then they're like, oh shit, St. Peter's is actually hooping.
And they have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
like, they have nothing to lose.
No, like something has to be said for like teams that like are playing with literally nothing to lose. Like I mean, like you think like it's how
Portland State this year. I don't think the public knows what happened.
Well, you know they found out now because I said it on the podcast.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. About it last pod.
My gosh,
we talked about it last one.
I completely forgot about that. I know we bring it up. Like how?
Tried to break into our locker room, dude.
That was like almost
someone almost died.
All-out melee.
There's police officers everywhere.
There was like
getting escorted to get my towel in.
Okay, but in all seriousness, the physicality that you brought up, like, it's such a huge thing. Like I always try to like foul and like guard people like more so in practice.
Yeah, to prepare for.
Yeah, like I try to.
That's
like,
how it should be.
I try to do that.
Yeah,
like I try to mug it, and like I do it anyway. Like I foul all the time, but like you want to like be extra physical, and then because you can dial it back, but it's harder to like ramp it up. Like when you're in it, like it's harder to like build those habits of like being extra physical and like being able to handle and like being tough, like in crazy environments. Like that's the stuff like you gotta like. You need to prepare for and like build up to. Like I need to like guard you and like foul the shit out of you if we're working out or whatever. So like because that's what they're gonna do now. Like you're gonna get that. Like I try, like freshman year I guarded Keegan all the time. Just beat the shit out of him. Chris, I'm gonna do the same thing to him. Like it's just like It's kind of like just what you need to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, like it's hard to like ramp it up, like as opposed to like because you can tone it down, right? Like, all right, just don't be as physical, but like you can. But then it's like if you want to ramp it up, it's like you don't really know how to be super physical. Like it's kind of something that you need to do every single day, like in order to really like kind of make a impact on that end, like in terms of your physicality. Yeah. You gotta know how to use your body, use your hands, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With the college basketball season now officially over, this is the time people turn their attention to filing taxes. People always have a lot of questions about their taxes. Maybe you're wondering if there's anything you can do to owe less taxes. Maybe you've got a little extra cash, you wanted to put it away for retirement, but you're not sure how. Maybe you're a student athlete with some NIL money and you want to be smart with what you have after paying taxes.
Wait, we have to pay taxes?
Everyone is looking for someone they can trust to provide answers and a game plan to help them make the right decisions with their money for today and in the future. If you just want to know if you're on the right path or if you haven't even started down a path at all, reach out to an advisor at Lane Family Wealth Management. They offer free phone, online, and in-person consultations. Call 319-535-4525 in Eastern Iowa or 515-322-7971 anywhere else in the U.S. So, okay, I want to get back really quick to like kind of like the progression of your career. Freshman year, you come in and you're not Sewell starting at first, and then you take the starting job, and your first game you shoot what was it, 15 threes at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think it was like 15 or 16.
I think you shot 15 or 16 threes in one game. I didn't shoot 15 threes in 10 games this year. And you're shooting that in your first college start. Like, what is that? And also, a lot of people don't know that. It's a miracle that game was even played because the team almost died on a plane crash.
And a bus ride to the hotel.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was like the worst weather
Yeah.
ever, wasn't it? Like the
Yeah.
plane, my dad said literally he's holding the seat, praying to God.
Me and Charlie Rose were literally holding hands and praying. Like we were praying out loud. I'm not even joking. Like it was like that bad of turbulence.
No.
Like it was miserable.
It's actually I was lifting the other day and Max brought it up, and Max was like, "Yeah, I've been on a lot of planes in my life. That shit was the worst."
It was a little ass plane too. We're like, oh yeah, for sure, this is going down.
For sure.
The worst part is like the flight. I love the flight attendants usually that we have, and
Especially when they bring cookies.
Yeah, when they bring warm cookies too. But when they say on the intercom, like to any capacity that there's gonna be turbulence, it's usually gonna be a miserable plane ride. Like they can say it's gonna be minor turbulence. It will be the worst turbulence you experience in your life. There's no like spectrum on that. It's every time.
No. But literally, so you guys are praying out loud. It's a small plane. It lands, and you're just like, all right, I'm getting up 15 threes. Like, there's nothing to lose.
Basically. What was weird about that year is, I was playing really well preseason, going into freshman year, and I made it a goal. I remember I wrote down a piece of paper and stuck it to, beside my bed in the dorm room that, I want to take over the starting role at point guard and do what I can to help this team win. And, I didn't get to start the year off, but I knew, if I keep playing the way I was able to get into the starting position. And, I had that, a lot of people don't remember, but I had that, finger issue where you can still see my scar on my hand. I had, 7 stitches on my webbing on my pinky finger, this finger, and it was my pinky was literally dangling in practice preseason in October, and it was disgusting. I could see my bone, and I was like,
how does that happen?
I went for a loose ball, and it was Nicholas Bear, of course. He was like, how's someone loose ball? I stuck my hand out, and he pulled my finger one way, and it got caught, and he went the other way. And I actually got the ball, and I started dribbling with my right hand. Everyone stopped because they saw the blood on the floor. I looked down. I went into shock. I was I usually don't cry, but I was in tears of shock because I didn't know what the hell was happening.
Right.
So I had to deal with that for the first 6 games. I didn't shoot that well, I remember. And then once I got that off, I went into Notre Dame. And I felt really comfortable after that trip to Florida, and I knew that I was going to be able to play well that freshman season. And we really kind of made some huge strides once that happened. And we almost got an NCAA tournament after how bad of a start we had, which is crazy.
What was it like playing with Pete?
So much fun. I learned so much.
That boy Jok City, yes sir.
Bro, I love Jok, bro. He was my boy. He literally took me under his wing and helped me with everything, how to work from day to day. He had his fun. Don't get me wrong. He knew how to separate that. That was the thing. That was different about him.
Pete would get active.
Bro, he would get active downtown for sure. But nah, he was so much fun to play with. It's like being the point guard and you have like a shooter that you can literally throw the ball into like his shooting pocket, and you know, like if he gets it there, it's gonna go in. It feels so good because you know, like that's gonna be an assist right there.
The only thing that would ever stop Pete from making a 3 was like if he was sweating too much,
bro.
No, so like I've never seen somebody
bad.
sweat that much. He sweat through like 3 shirts to work out. So it's like that. Like if his hands were wet, that's the only thing that would ever stop him.
Because he was so hungover from the night before, he was sweating everything out. He was sweating all the liquor out. Literally dropping 40 with literally liquor in his system every night.
Drake bar.
Yeah, that's what
Drake bar. Right there. That's hilarious, bro.
No, I remember because Pete was here this summer, and like one of the days he was here, he called me and he's like, yo, like meet me at Carver. I was like, all right. It was like 10 p.m. and he was walking me through like his whole like workout regimen, like everything that he does, like these like crazy one-legged like form shots, like lean forward, touch the ball to the floor, off one leg, come back up, shoot. Like he was like walking me through like his whole routine, and I was just like, he's like, do this every day. I was like, okay. So I've tried to do that pretty much every day, and it's helped. And so
I love that dude.
Forever grateful for Pete for that.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite teammates. He was a phenomenal player to play with, 100%.
No, he's the man. He's a different kind of leader too, wasn't he? Like talk a little bit about.
He wasn't like he's kind of similar in my aspect. Like he didn't talk too much like outside, like during workouts and like conditioning and practice. Like he really wasn't that vocal. But when it got on the court and like we were huddling and stuff like that, he was always like the most vocal in that aspect. But he was kind of that leader by action. Like he made big plays down the stretch, always wanted the ball down the stretch. And I think that's kind of where I kind of took after him, because he kind of showed me like the pressure of building in late game moments and be able to handle that pressure and understanding like what you need to do to accomplish and win the game.
Yeah.
No, I remember like Dad said when we had him on 2 weeks ago, he's like, if you don't execute late in the game, you will not win.
Yeah.
You will not win. If
you don't know a play, like you're
exactly like you go. Because like we have like people don't understand, like we have like our playbook, right? But then we also have like our like late game package, which is a whole different set of other plays. So it's like if you run down and you're in the wrong spot and you don't know it, like, and you screw up the play, like it's like mess up everything else.
I'd never understood that, how you don't know plays like that. If anything, like you guys saw me a couple of times this year, because we had some guys that struggle with that at times, and like that's like my biggest pet peeve. Like when you don't know a play, like get in with me, get in with Connor, get in with Coach. Like we'll literally go through everything that we do. Like that should never be an issue with any team ever.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, like why doesn't so and so play? Like why can't he? But why don't you just play this lineup? Like why don't you just play like, you know, whoever at the 3 and move him to the 4? Like because they don't know the plays. Yeah. Like we're trying to call plays and they don't know them. Yeah. That's why they don't play.
Those
like,
guys are idiots.
Like they don't. Like well, really, like he should be getting more minutes. He doesn't know the plays. Yeah. What do you want? Like we're down the stretch. Like we're calling a set. Like every possession. Like you got to know it. You got if J-Bo is in, he's at the 1. You know, I'm at the 3. Okay, I can play the 4. If you don't know, you know, Patrick at the 3, Keegan at the 5, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so you got to know the 4. Yeah. Like you got to know the 4 to whatever we call. I'm not going to give out our calls in case anyone's listening.
No, I almost just gave out one earlier. I stopped myself.
I heard you. I heard you.
But literally though, like it's like, okay, why doesn't he play? There's a like if you think he's good, like we obviously know he's good too. Like he probably doesn't know the plays. Probably has no idea what we're doing. Late game, mid game, he doesn't understand defense, like whatever. And I'm not gonna like say any names. There's nobody that's even coming to mind right now. But over the years of guys that we've played with, think about how many guys like truly don't know the play. Actually, there is one that really comes to mind right now, but I'm not gonna say it. But like guys, he literally didn't know any of the plays. Like,
can play at the end of the
as
game.
talented as anybody. And he didn't know.
I knew.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know. I'm thinking of a Philip this year. I remember it was like 2 practices in. We just went to play. And I was like on his ass. Yeah. And he's like, he came up to me. He's like, bro, why do you gotta be such a dick to me? Like, I was like, learn the plays then. He's like, I've been here for like 3 weeks.
And then, but to credit though, he was in with BT every day, like going over everything, like about all the plays. Like
because he didn't want me to yell. I roomed with him like the last half of the year. He's like, bro, you realize like how much pressure you put on me, like not knowing the plays, like beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he was in with BT literally every day, going over every play, every late game, every press break, like everything.
I love it.
So it's like he never screwed up again.
Yeah.
You know who screwed up some of the plays this year, but it didn't really matter? Chris. And I love Chris.
I love Chris to death.
But Chris,
man,
like,
he's actually one of the guys that didn't know the plays at times.
But that's okay with him because he gets buckets.
No, he got buckets.
He gets buckets.
He made up for it.
Like, I don't know it. What did we call it at Purdue? Box lob Chris?
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh my, yeah, no,
What a set.
No, every time, no, everybody was talking about like, oh my God, Chris, like what a shot. It's like, well, he just royally screwed up the play, but it doesn't matter because he had a 3. So it's like
He was supposed to be on the block, and he just ran up to the top of the key.
he literally. So now, and my favorite part about that is like now, like assistants like who have our scout from other schools are gonna be like, oh, like
This play's
they'll
for
run this play
Chris.
game when they get on the side, they're gonna run this play, and Murray's gonna do this, and it's like, well, like he did that on his own,
did
bro.
that,
Joke's on you.
That was his own play call.
Or like when we ran a play we typically run at the end of the half where I won't say the name, but it's the one where you come off the double stagger.
Yeah.
And I remember this was. Well, I'm not gonna say.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
As long as I don't say the name.
They've seen it.
Exactly.
Everybody knows. Yeah.
But it's like so it's like we call it the play just like whatever the name is, right? And
Purple
then-
polka dot.
Yeah, purple polka dot, and then like so we run purple polka dot C, like and. We were playing Northwestern assistant sees us lined up and they see where like it was either you or CJ, I don't even remember where they were lined up. He stands up, starts screaming, hey, he's going, trying to tell everybody where he's going, and then like sure enough, like whoop, and then we run, and then it's like this the counter, so we run like you go the other way, and then like we hit him, and we had a wide open 3 to end the half, and he's like, oh, my dad's like, oh, he thought he was smart.
No, he was at the dinner.
Yeah, no, he was at the dinner. Yo, have you ever heard him say that? Like
he was at the dinner when basketball was created.
Yeah,
Yes. He was out there with Naismith.
and Nate Smith and Dr. J and Wilt Chamberlain.
I
They're all
gotta
at the dinner.
add that one to because I got like hundreds, if not 500 quotes of your dad in my time playing
No,
here.
that's
Just
honestly, like,
on my phone. Like,
Out of all of his quotes, like that might be my favorite. Like when he's like
It's a good one.
when he meets somebody and they'll walk away like, oh, that guy was at the dinner.
Yeah.
Like
He was at the dinner.
I don't know.
when it
I
was
got some
invented.
good ones. I had some really good ones that literally leave me in tears every time I pull it up on my phone. It's so funny.
We're recording this on Wednesday. The banquet is tomorrow, which is Thursday.
You got your speech ready,
Bo?
Bo?
Say like, are you gonna read any of them out? Like, what are we gonna get? Like the notes?
I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't know. I'm not gonna get really too in depth with any speeches.
Are you gonna cry?
Nah, I've already done enough emotional shit in the past month and a half. Like I'm
Valid.
good now. Like I'm kind of on the next stage of my life. Like I cherish every moment I had here, but you know, I'm there to see, you know, the street family, you guys, to you know, pay a test to all the teammates that we had this year. So that's the only reason.
I would say that's honestly like a very like underrated part of like the off season is like obviously you need to recover physically, right? First and foremost, but like I needed at least 2 weeks to recover emotionally.
Yeah.
Like just like mentally, like just to clear like everything, like just like all right, like reset. But like honestly, more important for me was emotionally than anything.
Yeah.
Like physical was obviously important, right? I started every game, played, but like so it's like my body hurts, right? You both know how it is. Your body hurts, but it's like our body hurts the whole second half of the year.
Yeah.
So it's like you know how that is, but it's like emotionally and mentally you're just drained.
Yeah.
And so that
a
was
long
always
season.
exactly that was always the hardest part. Like for my first 3 years here, that's always been the hardest
Yeah.
part for me. Was like kind of separating that and being able to move on.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell. I remember I told you this after this last season. Like I always took like 3.5, 4 weeks off. I didn't even touch basketball. I didn't think about basketball. You know, I hung around my family. Like kind of rewind your whole body and your time and your clock and your body to understand that you got another grind coming up because it's a long season. Like you don't need to. I mean, Kobe Bryant was a different breed to be able to go 24/7 like he did, but you know, to be smart with your body and then get ready for the season and be prepared for that late season grind, you have to take that break and reset.
Yeah.
You have to.
'Cause it's so easy for you to just burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, earlier talking about that, you were talking about like the injury with your finger and getting your body back to a place where you feel like you're in a good spot. People don't know like all of the injuries. I mean, they know the hips. They know, they know the plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, they
like,
do a little bit. I would
a
think.
little bit of that, but they don't realize like the amount of stuff. Like that's probably like one of my biggest things with you is like people don't realize like how tough you were. Like you were in the lineup, like whenever, like you were in the line, you're gonna play, and we'll work backward from there. But like where you're gonna play, we'll start there, and then however that's going to happen, we'll deal with that at a later date.
Yeah.
And people don't know, like, throughout every year that you played, the amount of injuries that you fought through, whether it's a little nagging thing for a game or two here and there. I guess talk about, like, your mindset with that and, like, what, like, because a lot of people aren't, like, we can get into some guys who aren't built like that. We had a guy on our team a couple years ago who's, he's my whole, like, my ankle, oh my God, like, my mom, like, feel bad for me, like, wants to sit out every game. It's like, Connor, you're gonna start at the 2, like, because he's not playing. Oh, okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we've had guys and we've played with guys like that, some soft dudes. So, like, what is it like for you having that mindset?
The shade.
Bro, he's so soft. He is soft. Let's go, like, I'm serious. Like, what is it? Like,
go ahead, JB.
It's different. It's a different kind of mindset.
No, it is different. You almost got to realize that, so I played golf. This is going to get a little off topic for a second, but hear me out to go full circle with this. So I played golf freshman year through senior year. I was on varsity all 4 years, and I learned so much from the game of golf. And I remember there was a windy-ass meet my freshman year, and I was like crazy. I was like, bro, I don't want to go to this golf meet. Like, it's gonna be windy. Like, I'm not gonna play good, right?
Ball's gonna be all over hell
because I'm always so focused on the wind.
Right.
And I remember my head golf coach came out to me. He's like, J-Bo, what's going on? Like, you keep about everything. Like, what's going on? Like, cause he heard me on the driving range because I was about it. And I was like, I told him about the wind. He's like, you realize every single other person on this course has to play with the wind as well. So, like, I was like that's actually, like, more sentimental if you think about it, like, to life. Like, when I got to college, like, I dealt with the torn MCL my senior year in high school was the first, like, real injury I went through. And then I started having all these little things happen. And that kind of, like, going back to my high school, like, mindset, like, when I thought about that, I was like, we're late season, the Big Ten conference, and we're grinding to, we're down 2 late season. You realize, like, everyone is hurt at this point. Like, everyone is dealing with something. And I think when you have that mentality, like, realizing that everyone else is dealing with the same thing you probably are going through and they just don't know about it, it's really like who's hiding it like the best. Who's going to hide that they're going through the pain the most. Yeah. And I think that's how you got to be successful. You got to hide, like, your kind of failures and your mistakes at the end, like, or your injuries to really succeed at the highest level you can because, everyone is going through something.
Remember what my dad always says about problems is, like, he's like, 50%, he's like, there's 2 groups of people who like how they feel about your problems. Like, 50% are glad you have them, 50% don't care.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. He always says that. Yeah. Every year, like, whenever we struggle, he's like, hey, everyone's happy we have problems.
Facts. 100. I mean, you think?
No, but I think you're onto something because, like, something needs to be said for, like, how good you feel after a win, how demoralized you feel after a loss.
It's the highest low. I mean, we dealt with it.
Literally the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
We dealt with winning a Big Ten tournament championship that hasn't been done in, 15, 16 years?
Something like that.
And then we lose first round to a Richmond team that we probably would beat 9 times out of 10 if we played them again.
Yeah.
And, if you can't, but I was talking about this with some of my friends earlier, actually a couple weeks ago. And I was like, they're talking about, like, are you, like, afraid to, like, go in public after you just lost first round? I was like, no. Like, think about, like, everything that we just accomplished, like, not only, like, individually wise for myself, but as a team. Like, no one even thought that we would do anything this year. Yeah. Like, the fact we were able to win a Big Ten title championship, like, we just left a mark on history. Like, we literally get to put a trophy in the locker room. That hasn't been done in a long time. And I'm proud of everything that we accomplished this year.
Andy Katz picked us to finish behind Nebraska. I want that on the record.
We don't need to get into what he says or doesn't say, like, because
he didn't put Keegan on the top 20 players in the league preseason.
I mean, we could fill up a pod with some that, like, yeah.
Like,
anyway, okay. Another thing I want to hit on too with you is, like, your ability to, like, not get tired. Like, you don't get tired ever, and that's, like, another, like, part of the toughness factor. Like, you just never, it goes with injuries, it goes with fatigue. Like, it's just, you don't show it. Like, it's like, you're always going to be going, you're running. You could play 40 minutes, you're not going to say a word, doesn't matter. Was that, like, did you always have that? Or was that kind of developed as you got older? Are you just naturally, like, can you just go for that long? Like, where does that stem from?
Pause.
I was looking at you.
You just all right, go ahead, Jordan.
But nah, it was instilled with me like at a young age. Like my dad, like I love my dad to death, but he was really hard on myself and my brothers, like to get to the stage we're at. Like anytime we were ever walking on the court or like hands on our knees or hands on our hips, how someone puts their hands on our hips on our team, like little like that bugged him, and he's like, that made you tired. That made you tired. Like that makes you look. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. Like I mean, I've said it a couple times to him. Like it makes you look tired. Like when you're showing that to your opponent. Like, and I always like it's going back to what we just talked about with the whole golf thing. Like everyone is tired.
Yeah.
Like, it's how you're gonna hide it the best, and that's the person that's gonna be able to succeed the best. That's just how it's gonna happen at the end of the day.
Yeah,
just how it is.
That's just how it is. It's a fact. All right, I want to get into some of the social media stuff because like everybody knows. I mean, everybody knows. We're all three of us are like outspoken on social media.
You're active.
We're active. We got time. We got a lot of time. But like you're probably like you're even more so than us. And like I would say we were talking on the last pod. It was probably like Petrus like number 1 and like you like 1A or 1B for who gets the most at the university. And Monica goes, yeah, well, J-Bull fights back, and it adds to, and so like I guess why, like, not why, because I get why, because I do it too. Like sometimes you don't want to hear it, you want to let him have it right back. But like, when did you finally just say like, all right, like I don't care anymore, and like
that's how he is, bro.
I mean, there's just I wouldn't even say there was a time. Like that's just how I was raised. Like I mean, when you're raised with 3 older brothers, like you take no. Like at the end of the day, I think that's where my mentality with that came from. Just put it blunt for you. Like that's, I don't like when, people doubt me and I want to prove them wrong. And this kind of goes along with that whole, social media. Like if you want to talk, I'm going to talk back. I mean, I mean, you look at my tweets, I don't think there's ever been an instance where I ever just went at someone for no reason. Never. Like it is always every single time. Like no matter what anyone says about my social media, it is always about like someone saying something stupid about our team or, you guys' dad, like that, myself, my family, like that. I'm gonna talk back because I'm gonna back down on what I believe in. I'm gonna continue to double down on everything that I grew up with, my values, my morals. So I'll never ever stop that.
What was it like for you and your family in the first row at Iowa State this year?
Oh my God!
Whenever you touch the ball, the entire arena is chanting Bohannon.
I loved it
the whole time, the whole game. Every time you touch the ball,
I loved it. I wish I could go back and play that game over again.
Dude, so do I. It was awful.
It was
terrible.
I had a blast, even though we lost. Like I always love playing in Hilton. You always gotta. As much as I do not like Cyclones. Like they show up to their basketball games and they are one of the best like active fan bases during games. So I've always loved that, but we had to make sure there's some security with my family and I was worried about that. I was texting them like an hour before the game. I was like making sure like you guys get in, like you guys have found the police officer that's escorting you in, like make sure you stay with them. Or like my brother's like Jordan, we're fine. Like we're big enough. Your
brothers will kill somebody.
Wait, so how many of your brothers were at that? Was it Zach and Matt, or was Jason there too? Because I'm pretty sure Zach and Matt were there. Zach was there.
Zach and Matt were there.
I thought Jason was there too.
Was Jason? Dude, I don't remember. There's 2 there for sure. One of them was not there.
I know Matt. I know Zach and Matt were. I remember.
Yeah. So it was Jason then. Yeah. Jason was the one that was not there. But Matt is crazy. Like me and Matt are really similar. I think it's because how close we are in age compared to other brothers. Like we are very similar like people. Like we have the same like mentality. Like we don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. Like we're talking back and people talk to us. And yeah,
that's the way to do it.
I mean, he was the one I'm most worried about during the game, and my mom.
I felt bad for your mom. Like I was looking back at your mom, and I'm like, oh God.
My mom dealt with a lot of.
Yeah,
she ever since that whole instance downtown too. Like when I got knocked out, like my mom is like. I mean, she's always been protective, but she was really concerned that game, like afraid something was going to happen to me. I was like, Mom, I'll be okay. I'm more worried about you guys than me.
Yeah, no, you were going to be fine because you were always going to be around us.
Yeah.
So like you were going to be fine.
Jelly wasn't going to let anything
Jelly
happen.
was not.
I wasn't going to let anything happen.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No way. No, but like I would have done the same thing as you. Like I would have been worried about your family. Like that's how it. Cause like, but like I know like. I mean, your mom, like, she's going to be protective. Like, our mom would have been the same.
Yeah.
That's how moms are. That's why moms are awesome.
Moms are the best.
Yeah.
Literally the best.
Like they're looking out more than anybody.
Yeah.
So, and that's got to be hard on like your family too, seeing, because like I know like my mom going through it, like she hates it, like seeing like that we deal with. So I guess like for your family, whether it's your brothers, your dad, your mom, whoever, like did they ever say anything to you? Like did they ever like, you know, not come to your defense, because obviously they're always going to come to your defense, but you know what I mean? Like what was their take on it? Like
they've always been, honestly, like my mom's always been like how she is, want to be protective. But you know, my dad and my family, they've always been pretty good because, you know, they're not really on social media that much as I am. And I always said this term, you know, ever since I came to college, that's a silent or a loud minority that's on social media.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't exactly,
no, absolutely.
It doesn't encompass the entire fan base. Like I've met so many people that are diehard Iowa fans that, you know, love us as individuals on and off the court. And that's what keeps me on social media, because I do still meet those people. Even though it's been getting worse these past couple of years, but you know, social media is not a real place. Like that doesn't encompass the whole population of the world and the whole population of Iowa fan base for sure. It's not even close.
Yeah. No, even just being in Phoenix, like last week we were on vacation, and like the amount of Iowa fans, like apparently there's like an Iowa streamline to Arizona.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
know,
crazy.
But everybody in Arizona is like an Iowa fan.
Yeah.
And everyone's like sees us and they come up like so supportive. And like you're right, absolutely. It's like a loud minority on social media. That's what it is. But like I also will still get like DMs like, huge Hawk fan here, like we love the team, like you guys helped, like you guys were so amazing to watch, also like so supportive. And that's like the good part of social media, like you said. I just obviously some of the bad sticks out a little bit too, which sucks, but there's way more support from
100%.
everyone. It's a great fan base.
So
it really is.
It's like when you see, like when you interact with people like like downtown, like whether you're out or whether you're getting food, whatever, like I would say literally probably 98% of the interactions I've had with people are people like, oh my God, like so fun to watch you, like you're a bucket, like all that type of stuff. Like maybe once or twice somebody said something that like I didn't really want to hear, and then like probably not gonna say that again, just because of how we all reacted. But like it's just like I would say like a vast majority of the people are like super positive and like are super appreciative of what we do on the floor.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people that also say stuff. One, they're probably not fans, and two, they're just jealous of the position we're in and everything we've been able to accomplish, you know, as a team and individually wise. And I think that kind of gets at some people because maybe they weren't able to get to the spot of, you know, playing. You know, I was able to play at my dream school. You guys were able to play with your dad at your dream school here at Iowa. And, you know, some people don't like that. Some people don't like others to succeed. Like I learned that too. Like some of my friends that I thought were friends in high school, I mean, as soon as I, you know, started doing well in Iowa, I mean, they were just jealous. They said some shit.
Yeah.
Like it's just how society is these days. People don't want to see other people win. I think that's what it comes down to.
Especially if they're not winning, then they want everybody else to lose too.
Bro.
Right.
I'm gonna bring you down. No, absolutely. We're almost done, but I wanted to hit on like a couple more things. We have to talk about like the Big Ten tournament run and your shot against Indiana, because like I called timeout and then I see you. I called timeout. They didn't hear me.
No.
Like I was gonna call it because the play like immediately wasn't working. You come up and I like threw it to you and I was like, fuck it, Jay was gonna hit a shot. Like just get out of the way. Like I threw it to you, just got out of the way.
Yeah.
Like what did you just want the ball? Would you have rather just like had the ball, like brought it up, or like what would you rather have a play called for you? Because like you're also kind of like known as the Indiana killer.
Yeah.
Like my
it's actually crazy.
Dude, my freshman year you sent him home twice. And like my junior year, last year, like you before they made the game winner, you hit a 3 with like 20 seconds to tie. Like you just always hit shots against Indiana.
Yeah.
Freshman year even too. So like what goes into like your late game shot making ability? Because like earlier you talked about it with as it pertains to like Pete. But what goes into that? Like you always want the ball.
Yeah, it's just being confident at the end of the day. Like I mean, there's times, you know, this year, even, you know, earlier in my career, like maybe, you know, I don't feel comfortable with the ball here. And I think that happens to almost everyone at some point during a game. Like you just don't feel comfortable with the ball for some reason. And, you know, for whatever reason, I always felt comfortable like getting the ball at the end of the game and wanting to make something happen. And the Indiana game this year, I'm still pissed off at Keegan. Like, can you set the back screen so I can get open? Like,
he screwed up the play.
Talking about screwing up plays. Like, his kid's national player of the year. Don't get me wrong, but like, or candidate for national player of the year. We're not gonna get that whole Dayton issue again this year. But
bro,
still have Dayton fans in my DMs,
dude. Yes,
yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing. But anyway,
yeah.
go ahead.
But like, I set the back screen. Like, maybe I'm open, but.
Yeah.
You know, I'm literally here. I hear you call the timeout, and Larry Scrotto is right behind me. I'm like, I'm about to turn around because I bet, oh, the play's gonna be dead for a second. Now I see Sprue right when I get the ball. Sprue's like tugging on your dad to call a timeout. I'm like, oh, well, I'm just gonna try to do a quick crossover and throw up a shot before they do call a timeout because I know like good percentage it's gonna go in if it's late game, and you know there's no timeout called, so it went in.
As soon as you shot it, I was like, that's going in. I was like, I don't know how, but I was like, that's going in.
Bro, that place, it was weird. Like, I didn't think there was a lot of Iowa fans, but it was like really, really, really loud, like that last play. Like, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And then I shot the ball, and like I'm watching in the air, and like it was just dead quiet. And then it burst again. Like a lot of people like sighed, obviously, because there's a lot of Indiana fans. Like, watching that ball like in the air was like the slowest like time. I don't know about you guys watching it, but it was like the craziest like feeling because I knew like it felt really good even though it banked in. Like, it was one of those shots like, okay, there's a good chance of it going in.
Yeah, I mean, it was just dead on from like where you were. Yeah. Like, you could tell like it was gonna be.
No, bro, I saw it. I was like, he made that.
I feel bad for Trey because I think I host him. I was with him for most of the official visits, so I'm pretty close to Trey.
He's a cool dude. Yeah, he's a cool dude. I kind of wanted him to come here. Yeah, like, he like fit in. He
good
was
player,
cool dude.
Really
good
good player.
He's good.
Yeah,
if he could shoot, Trey Galloway, we're talking about. Like,
yeah,
he could like if he could figure out a jumper, he could be league.
Yeah,
honestly.
No, bro, he's tough.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick. This is like one of the last questions, but this is like for you about J-Bo. Your redshirt year when you guys
we were tight.
When you guys were like on the end of the bench. I guess like what were some things that you took from him or like learned from him when you guys were always talking on the end?
Well, first and foremost, he tied my tie most of the game because I didn't know how to tie a tie. So, like, and like it took me a while to figure out like it's like, okay, like don't show up right before the game, but like I don't have to be here 4 hours before. Yeah. Like what I was like, I make no difference here, like on game, like whatever. So it's like that was kind of something that I just picked up from Jordan. It's like it really doesn't matter if I'm here or not. I'm not taking part of the quiz. Like as long as I get my workout in at some point, like I'm like that's fine, which is what I was always doing. So it's like kind of taught me that. And it's like, and then also, you know, he just like it was a lot of like little like just kind of remarks. He would always call over Joe T whenever Joe T would come out of the game and like talk about like stuff that he saw. And like all that kind of stuff, but like a lot of it was just like it's just like we would kind of sit there and observe, and like we would just kind of like it was like little just small like kind of chit chat like throughout the game, like like I don't even know, just like random like just small things that you see, and like those like just like things like well kind of going back to what we talked about like clock management, like all that kind of stuff, like 2-for-1s, like just a bunch of like just kind of like smaller stuff like that like me as a younger player probably hadn't picked up on yet. Like hadn't been in the game long enough to really know like all that kind of stuff. So I would say a lot of it was just like kind of like just late game execution, like kind of stuff we've been talking about, like all pod, like game late half, like all that kind of stuff, fouls to give, like all that.
Yeah. No, I mean, you could tell, like I remember times when you would say to me like, not that year, but like after the fact, like, oh, like me and J-Bo are close. Like he taught me a lot. Like during this whole season, like that was big for me being able to sit with like a vet at the end.
No, for sure.
Like learning what's going on.
It's like you learn so much. And then also like a lot of it had to do with just like stuff that like maybe didn't even have to do with basketball, just like kind of how to handle yourself. Cause like my freshman year, I kind of went rogue a little bit. I didn't really know what was going on, especially when I stopped playing. Like I just kind of like lost myself there for a sec. That's a whole other story. But like, and like Jordan was kind of able to kind of guide me, you know, into like being able to figure all that stuff out again, which is all why I'm always super appreciative of Jordan, and like Jordan's forever gonna be one of my best friends because of that.
Yeah, that was a tough, even like that was a tough year for me too, because like I dealt with so much trying to come back after that first hip surgery, then in the second hip surgery, then we sat, and then I watched, you know, one of my good friends, Jack, fall down and hurt himself, and then he had to go through our same process that we were going through, and we're like, man, this is just like a weird time, like trying to, and I think all three of us kind of wrapped each other's like arms around each other, and that's when I got really close with you, obviously, and then Jack, and kind of dealt with, learning about life. Really, it wasn't really about basketball that year with me. Like I knew I'd always like be okay with basketball IQ and understanding little things and trying to help, Patrick out, for example, or Jack, but like understanding like the highs and lows of life and like how to deal with adversity and understanding that, not every day is going to be perfect, and you have to understand to, deal with all the adversity to really excel and try to be the best person you can. And you gotta go through in life to be able to have have the sunrise at some point, and that definitely helped me out with my life too.
No, absolutely. And it's like when I came in at that point, like I'd played basketball, like I never like had sat before, like in high school, I never sat. So like I'm sitting and I'm like I need to compete. Like it's like I have just this burn in my chest. Like I need to compete. Like I need to play. And like sitting there is maddening because it's like as a competitor, right? Like you just have that just desire. Like I need to be on the floor. Like I want to compete. I want to win. Like I want to like show everybody what I can do, especially like with the environments we play and all that kind of stuff. It's like I want to compete. And it's like, and it's kind of like when I came in, it's like I wanted to just like absolutely annihilate like every single day. And you had taught me, like you taught me this, like, cause like I'd have like a bad practice or something, I'd be pissed, and you'd just be like bro, like you're it's a long season, like nobody's gonna care about this practice tomorrow. Like it's like if I shot 3 for 7, it's like if I shot 3 for 17, you're good, bro. Like nobody's gonna care, and that's just kind of something that I've carried on, like even to now. It's like if I have a bad open gym or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like it just matters how I come back the next day, how I prepare myself, like all that kind of stuff. So it's like just kind of not letting it linger and how truly like, because we can sit here and say like, oh, like it's such a long season, but like to the people in this room right here, that doesn't really mean a whole lot because like they haven't been through it like we have. Like it's like you got to really like go through that to understand, like, because it's like they just watched the 33 games. It's like there's so much more that go. Like we start working like we started workouts 2 weeks after the season ended. We work out in April, and then we finish in March. Yeah, and it's like every single day, like we're doing something. Like we have off days, but it's like once you get back in that mode, like it's every day. Like after we talked about that little break or whatever, it's every day you're doing something to get better. It might not always be physical, but you're doing something to get better. And so it's like you just got to take that into account, like how long of a season it is and how much goes into it. And it's like you can't get super stressed out about one bad day or like it's just like, all right, man, just don't let it linger and just keep it moving. And that's kind of like that's probably one of the biggest lessons I learned since I got to college. And that a lot of that was thanks to you, Bo. Yeah. So
I'm appreciative of all the bad days, man. Like that helped me to be the person I am today. Like I'm nowhere near being perfect, and like I think the more bad days you go through as a person, it really helps you out later in life. And I'm thankful for all the shit I went through because it kind of made me more wise and understanding. I can continue to help other people out and continue to make myself a better person. So, that was another instance. I look at like how close we got and how close I got with Jack. Like just thankful for, I had surgery because maybe I wouldn't have learned what I did when I went through all that.
And like we talked about this last week with Monica, the highs aren't nearly as fun if you don't go through the lows. Like us winning the Big Ten tournament for me wouldn't have been nearly as enjoyable if I didn't sit like my freshman year. And it's like, because then what starts creeping in is like, you ever heard of imposter syndrome? It's like, am I really good enough to be here? Like you watch all these guys out here and you're like, shit, do I belong? I don't know. How the fuck am I supposed to know if I'm not playing? So it's like, and then like we go out there and like we contribute in like winning a Big Ten championship, and that's something that's like everything paid off, all the work, everything like that, it paid off. So it's like you just feel so much better, and you really don't appreciate like the highest of highs unless you go through like what we went through.
Yeah, and I always thought about too, like after that Richmond game, like when we went through when we played Tennessee and almost came back, like everyone was bawling because we knew how much work we put in that season. And same thing with Richmond. Like if people weren't crying in that locker room, or if any locker room at the end of the NCAA tournament, like you didn't work hard enough. You didn't dedicate yourself. You weren't loyal enough to that team to really go through all the highs and lows of the year to really experience that emotional, that divide that you have as a person. And while this season's really over after all the work we put in. So
no, 100%.
No, absolutely. Well, J-Bo, don't want to keep. I feel like we can keep going, but don't want to keep you here for too long. I got some homework I got to do. I don't know about you.
No, I was at the LC earlier.
Oh, there you go.
I was at the LC.
I was not at the LC.
You haven't been to LC in 3 years.
4 or 5 years.
Never went to the LC. No. Bro, stop. But no, this has been good. We could keep going. We could have you back on at some point. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having on.
Yes,
that was
sir.
fun.
That boy Bo. Yes, sir.
Time went quick, but that's a wrap.
Keys, wallet, and vitamin water are the only 3 things you need walking out the door. Rise to the occasion with zero sugar or enhance your hydration by slaying the dragon fruit. With a variety of flavors, vitamin water energizes, revives, and refreshes your mind for optimal focus. Great taste, more nutrients. They're vitamins, but they also like to party. Join the club.
Proudly sponsored by Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Dragon fruit, favorite drink. It's not close.
Yo, Kono with the rebound, they got 8 seconds to go. Move the ball right up the court, yeah, you know they ready to roll. Hit the outlet pass to Patrick, put a move on them so tragic. Yeah, you don't want no static, McCaffery boys, they be like magic. This shit back to Connor, yeah, you know these boys is hooping. Hit him with the alley, yeah, you know he straight up hooped it. Now Patrick's hanging on the rim, yeah, he's got his feet up. Excessive celebration, McCaffery boys, they done got teed up. Oh man, they got teed up.